Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, everyone. Apologies, I keep the time, but this is 10:07. A lot of people are around the corner. My name is Ronke Kosoko, a Lagos princess, a maritime stakeholder. And here I welcome you all to today's session. But a very quick introduction, because when purpose is not known, abuse becomes inevitable. Why exactly are we here this morning? For the stakeholders already in the room, you know that we do a whole lot of events in the maritime sector. And there is a general conclusion that meetings don't lead anywhere. But here you are at the NESG. Right in this room on January 13, 2023, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was in this same room. Peter Obi was here also after that, and also Atiku. The president specifically came to share his economic vision with the NESG. You've been watching a clip that has been showing the journey of NESG over the last 30 years. But maritime, we have all been complaining that the government doesn't pay attention to maritime. This is the second time that we are having this opportunity, and you are all in the room. Today we'll be having some conversations. But I want to assure you that a whole lot of things has happened economically on this platform in the last 30 years. In the industry, they complain, oh, government is doing this for agriculture sector. Government is doing this for that sector. Why not us? I'm here to let you know that those things didn't just happen because government just did them. It happened because conversations happened on certain platforms and there were strategic actions behind the scene that led to those things. At the NESG, we have about 11 policy commissions and about 43 thematic groups. Like I said, the agriculture as a business, the agricultural conversation that has been on in the last 7 years in this country was driven on this platform. The same thing with the power sector, moving it from the hand of NEPA into the hands of the private sector, privatization and all that. Billions of dollars of investment has come into different sectors because of certain things that were done by the NESG. So you won't find us out there doing everything that everybody is doing. If you also look in the room, Buan, this thematic group is a ports and inland waterways thematic group, which directly aligns with what you do. So because we want you to know why you are in the room and why some people are not here, you are also aware that we just finished some fights at Anchor. They just finished some fights at Anchor. So we didn't want people that will bring machete to come and fight us. There are too many fights in our industry. The ship owner took them 9 years. The last 2 years we've been settling, and now they come back to the table. Things are still not settled. So we're very careful and very selective about the people that were called into this room. But one thing I want to assure you that the conversations that will be handled this morning is a conversation that is going to be leading to a whole lot of activities. Like I said, for the barge operators in the United States, I'm aware that 630 million tons of cargo is moved via the inland waterways annually in America, and over $90 billion worth of transaction. How can we get Nigeria to that level? So we are listening. So I'll just run through. A whole lot of people are around the corner. Niwa is around the corner. The chairman, Senate Committee on Marine Transport, is the one that just called now, is around the corner. We have the chairman, Ibejuleki, coming. So let me run through the introduction so we can move on. The global economic landscape is undergoing profound transformation in the 21st century, characterized by increased interconnectedness and reliance on maritime transport. According to the International Maritime Organization, IMO, over 80% of world's trade by volume and 70% by value is transported by sea. This underscores the critical role of maritime activities in facilitating global trade and economic growth. In the West African region, maritime trade and activities are of paramount importance, contributing significantly to the economies of the countries in the sub-region. West Africa's strategic geographical location has made it a vital hub for international maritime trade, particularly the movement of goods and resources to and from Europe, Asia, and the Americas. Nigeria, as the most populous African country in Africa and a key player in the region, holds a unique position in West Africa's maritime landscape. The country boasts a coastline of approximately 853 kilometers along the Gulf of Guinea, and this extensive coastline provides ample opportunities for maritime trade and economic development. Nigeria's maritime sector has the potential to drive economic growth and transformation, but it faces several challenges. Despite its vast line, welcome, Madam Sarah. Good morning, ma'am. Sorry, I missed where I was. Nigeria's maritime sector has the potential to drive economic growth and transformation, but it faces several challenges. Despite its vast coastline, Nigeria's maritime industry has been underutilized and faced issues such as piracy, illegal fishing, inadequate infrastructure, and regulatory bottlenecks. These challenges have hindered the full realization of the sector's potential. Evidence suggests that the thriving maritime sector could significantly contribute to Nigeria's economic diversification and inclusivity goals. In 2018, the Nigeria Maritime Administration and Safety Agency reported that the maritime sector contributed about 5% to the country's GDP and provided employment to thousands of Nigerians. And let's say Nigeria's maritime potentials aligns with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, particularly Goal 9, Industry, Innovation, and Infrastructure, and Goal 14, Life Below Water. Sustainable maritime practices can foster economic growth while preserving marine ecosystems and biodiversity. The upcoming Next 29 Nigeria Economic Summit pre-summit event, Sailing to Success, Harnessing Nigeria's Maritime Potential, presents a timely opportunity to address the challenges and explore the vast opportunities within Nigeria's maritime sector. By leveraging global trends and regional significance, the event aims to chart the course towards sustainable economic transformation and inclusion, aligning with Nigeria's development objectives and the broader global agenda. So I will now go back to introduction because we have to wait for everyone to be here. We have the MD of NPA represented here by the GM Operations, Mr. Ayodele. Thank you very much for your time, sir. We have the MD of NIWA, National Inland Waterways Authority, represented by Mrs. Sarah Brima. Thank you. She had to fly in from Delta this morning. We have the immediate past Executive Secretary at the Nigeria Shippers Council, and Barrister Sam Bello, I think, is online. He's in Abuja also. We have Julius Berger, represented by one of his senior Engineer Sena Daramola. She also flew in from Abuja. Thank you for coming, ma'am. We have Chief Basil Opara. Yes, a maritime consultant and an ex-official at CRFFN. That is the Council for the Regulation of Freight Forwarding in Nigeria. We have Mr. Olayemi Abbas, an ex-NIMASA. He retired at the director level, worked across different strata, but he has MD at Global Network. We have the Chairman, Senate Committee on Marine Transport. He said he's around the corner. He's sent in a speech, but he will be here. He will speak for himself when he gets here. Like I said, we have the Barge Operators Association of Nigeria represented here and led by their president, Honorable Bumi. You're welcome, sir. So now we'll take the welcome address from one of our board member, Mr. Nana Ude. Welcome address, sir. Off the call, they will take his welcome address later. Maybe he wants to take it almost immediately before because that's the protocol. He was supposed to give a welcome address, and the Senate committee chairman would give his, I think, his opening address. But then let's move on. I think it's fine if we are even having our discussions so while they are seated, because sometimes, government people will just make their speech and they will just disappear. But the truth is, really willing to listen. There are some of the bills on the table, like the NEWA bill, Ports and Harbour bill. I spoke with him yesterday. He's willing to see those bills passed. So we didn't want them to be on their own, and you, the operators, you are on their own. So we wanted that conversation, and everybody's here. So let's wait for him. He will be here in about 10 minutes. But then I want to call the panel to the table so we can continue with our discussion. I will start with Mr. Basil Okpara. Chief Basil Okpara holds a PhD in journalism and transportation logistics, a fellow of CILT and CIOTA. He worked in MPA from level 4 to level 12. He served for 12 years from 1980 to 1992. He worked in Odyssey Nigeria Limited, Marine Services, Barges Recovery and Repair, Panalpina World Transport International Logistics, National Clearing and Forwarding Agency, formerly Government Coastal Agency. He served for 6 years as a special advisor to the Chairman Committee on Marine Transport, House of Representatives, 2003 to 2008. He was a pioneer staff CRFFN, also as a pioneer administrator, where he disengaged in late 2022. Now Director of Policy and Strategy at GOG Marine. A consultant, he mentors a whole lot of young people. And this morning, he will be speaking more on CRFFN, freight forwarding activities in Nigeria and what government needs to do moving forward. Because as you can see, harnessing Nigeria's maritime potential, everybody agrees that this sector can replace the oil and gas sector. Everybody agrees it could create millions of jobs. Everybody agrees it could contribute to GDP. Everybody agrees there are certain things government needs to do. So we are going to be having that short discussion. I also want to welcome to the podium Dr. George Moghalu, Managing Director, Nigerian Inland Waterways, NIWA, represented by Madam Sarah Brahima. Is she an engineer? Okay, yes, you're an engineer. I forgot. I have 2 engineers in the room. I forgot. So sorry about that. Engineer, yeah, that's true. She's the Lagos area manager at NIWA. Also, I would like to welcome Mr. Mohammed Bello Koko, the Managing Director, Nigerian Ports Authority. Sorry, that's just it. No, this is not part of it. No. Mr. Mohammed Bello Koko, the Managing Director at the Nigerian Ports Authority, ably represented by Mr. Duro Waye Ayodele, the General Manager at the MD's office. I didn't know that the MD's office has the GM, so we have the right person in the room. Thank you, sir, for your time. We also have another powerful engineer in the room. I'm so happy. I have 2 engineers. I didn't know. Engineer Mrs. Senna Daramola, Senior Engineer at Julius Berger. So for Julius Berger to have released their senior executive to be here, we are having a very serious conversation on infrastructure. And we have Mr. Olayemi Abbas, the Managing Partner at Glosol Network. You're welcome, sir. So we'll just delve straight into the issues. Like I said, the objective of this webinar is to foster sustainable economic growth by advancing the development of shipping and port infrastructure, to encourage substantive discussions and actionable initiatives aimed at bolstering the competitiveness of Nigeria ports within the global maritime landscape. Also to champion the dissemination of industry best practices to attract private investments in ports and inland waterways development, driving economic expansion and enhancement in line with international standards. And our expected outcome is that we'll have a strategic roadmap that outlines actionable steps and policies for leveraging Nigeria's maritime potential to stimulate sustainable economic growth, also to strengthen collaboration and partnerships among government agencies, maritime industry players, international organizations, and investors, and also to develop a blueprint for attracting private investments into ports and inland waterways development, aligning with best practices. I just got back from the G20 in India. I know the work that the president did in trying to instill investors' confidence. You and I agree that we truly need money. With the money that we need to fix our maritime sector is not available in this country. And for us to attract those investments, there are certain things that has to happen. It's also right at UNGA, where he just rang the bell, the closing bell at NASDAQ just yesterday. So he is doing the work at the top there. He is doing the work there across nation. Different presidents are coming in to speak to him. I think next month, Germany and all that. So when these investors come in, when these investors are looking for Nigerian business to work with, who do they go to? So what do we want them to do? So on the NIWA side, somebody should come and please Honorable Shiloko's call. Give me the phone. He said he's there. You're welcome, sir. Mr. Pradip, you can come here, sir. Thank you for coming. Please have your seat right here. Easy, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming. Mr. Pradip is a very senior Indian professional in Nigeria. I just finished talking about India before he walked in, so you get to know more of him as we progress. The Senate committee chairman said he's here, so we're fine. Niwa, I'll start with you. Deconstructing the financing conundrum, innovating out of the long-term financial constraints in the maritime and shipping sector. We all know, just like I was saying before the interruption, that Nigeria is open for investment. The investors are on one side. The people who need this money are on the other side, because you understand the business environment here. And like I said in my opening speech, that America is moving 630 million tons of cargo annually via their inland waterways. So they don't have trailer falling down at Ojuelegba. They don't. Do you understand? So what do you think we need to do on financing? Because that's a major issue. Do you have enough funding to power your activities within the country? Can we rely on the barge operators that... You're welcome, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's welcome Senator Sani Wasiu Eshilokun, the Chairman, Senate Committee on Marine Transport. He's a very passionate man. Have engaged with him. If he can solve all the legislation problem overnight, be sure he will do that. We are happy to have you, sir. We're just taking off. We've just been doing introduction and getting ourselves to know each other. We have MPA, MD represented. We have NIWA, MD represented. We have a senior engineer from Julius Berger. We have two other maritime consultants from the maritime sector, from private sector. So we're just about starting NIWA. Okay. Now let's so the protocol was, I was just about taking the spot that was meant for the keynote address, and you walked in at the right time. So can you take your keynote address before we take off, or you need 2 minutes to settle down? You need 2 minutes to settle down. Okay, thank you. But you will not leave immediately after the speech. I will.
Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Like she introduced me, I remain Wasiu Eshilokun, and I represent Lagos Central Senatorial District. where like 60% of marine activities is happening. So I was newly appointed as the chairman of Marine Transport, the Senate Committee on Marine Transport. That was the last act done by the Senate President before we went on recess, and we are yet to resume. We are resuming on September 26th. So basically, for me, this kind of gathering, I just want to learn, continue to listen to specialist experts, and be able to take decisions at appropriate time. For me, like I told Madam Ronke, that basically, for me, my job is cut out. I'm supposed to help in the, I'm a legislator, so I'm more concerned about the enactment of the statute that will regulate the activities in the marine sector. And we have quite a view of those legislation waiting to be enacted or completed. Some had gone to the president for his signature, assent, they call it, and hopefully we'll be able to do one or two things. I think we have like 6 legislation at various stages. About 3 had been completed, 3 work in progress. And so basically my address is just, but I'll read it anyway. So I'm glad. I want to acknowledge all dignitaries here present. I'm sure you know I do not have the list, so permit me to say, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning, sirs. Good morning, ma. I'm glad to, on behalf of the Senate Committee on Marine Transport, which I humbly share, welcome you all to the pre-summit event here at the Summit House in Ikoyi, Lagos, this early morning. The pre-summit event is expected to create an enabling environment for the government and the private sector to dialogue on Nigeria's maritime sector, on how to harness the sector's potential and to interact and have a clear view of the role of the Senate Committee in the present prevailing economic situation and our expected duties in helping Nigeria achieve its goals of becoming a maritime superpower in no distant future, and under the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his renewed hope economic agenda for industry with immediate opportunity to change our narrative as a country. It is my belief that this rare opportunity of coming together to strategize and cross-fertilize ideas will create the much expected opportunity for all parties in streamlining expectation and also employ necessary modalities of achieving these goals. The pre-summit event, as you are all aware, is aimed at 1, stimulating conversation that will spur economic growth through shipping and ports development, igniting conversation and action that will enhance the competitiveness of Nigerian ports, promote best practices for attracting private investment in ports and inland waterways development, and establishing a cordial working relationship between the industry stakeholders and other diverse stakeholders within the maritime and shipping value chain. The NESG, through its ports and inland waterways thematic group, is saddled with the responsibility, made to understand that, to organize stakeholders forums on the competitiveness of Nigerian ports, organize public-private dialogue on accelerating private investments in inland waterways, which we are doing this morning already, to embark on action that will enhance the competitiveness of the Nigerian port, to broaden opportunities for private sector-led subsector development, promote best practices for attracting private investment in inland waterways, amongst others. And we are here to support your audacious moves by ensuring the passage of the bills at the National Assembly that needs to be passed, including the Ports and Harbour Reform Bill, the passage of the Nigeria Inland Waterways Act. You agree with me that the Ports and Harbour Bill is more than due for enactment, because I think certain actions were done, hoping that it will have been promulgated, especially the concession in which the present bill or the present act does not address. Most of the bills have already passed the first, second, and third readings at the National Assembly. Some are waiting to be harmonized. Some are waiting for the economic president assent, while the national transport policy, in my opinion, is too wieldy and needs to be unbundled. And I believe that you are ready to work with us as stakeholders in ensuring that we do the work together as soon as possible in the interest of Nigeria. The national transport policy tends to encompass all the aviation, land transport, and marine transport. As you know, they have been unbundled to about 3 different categories. So there is need to unbundle the bill or policy so that there will be one for each of those 3 categories. Distinguished members of the maritime and shipping community, permit me to say that the whole essence of the summit is to engage ourselves in a robust, interactive exercise, stock taking of the past, present, and where we want to be in future, particularly under an administration that is presently traveling the world to instill confidence in global investors to come invest in Nigeria. We are not losing sight of the problems encountered in the course of discharging these all-important economic function. But I assure you that we are up to the task, and together we will make Nigeria great again, and under the administration of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I'm deeply convinced that at the end of this pre-summit event, and before we meet again, that we will have come out with a magnificent blueprint which will assist everyone in their strive to reposition the industry for optimum performance in such a manner that it will create jobs, contribute to the GDP, reposition the country's competitive advantage, and in view of the Senate desire to serve the industry better through the execution of its statutory responsibility of passing the necessary law and legislation that are yet to be passed, which we can assure you that it will be done in a record time with your relentless support. In as much as the massive reforms in the industry calls for greater responsibility, for example, the port reform, which has introduced a multiplicity of private operators, is equally imperative that there should be in place a connector, a dialogue partner, a watchdog, an intervener like NSG, and we indeed appreciate your invitation. I therefore urge us all to come up with ideas and strategies which will hail the cause of discharging the task of formulating sound policy for the smooth running of the industry. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Very much, sir. We appreciate. And right immediately we take the board. Mr. Nana is online, I think.
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, let me apologize for the technical glitch that knocked me out much earlier. Technology has a way of dealing with us when we don't want it to. Distinguished Senator Wasiu Eshinolokun, the Chair, Senate Committee on Marine Transport, heads of ministries, departments, and agencies, captains of industry, heads of associations, donor communities, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the board and management of the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, NESG, I am delighted to welcome you to this pre-summit event titled Sailing to Success, Harnessing Nigeria's Maritime Potential, hosted by the NESG Infrastructure Policy Commission. This is one of the pre-summit events of the 29th Nigerian Economic Summit, NEST29, jointly organized by the NESG and the Federal Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning. These events are geared towards engaging stakeholders in a series of virtual conversations and sessions in the weeks leading to NEST29, which, by the way, is scheduled to hold on October 23rd and 24th, 2023. If you have not registered, please kindly do so by going to nestgroup.org/29 to pre-register now. Today, we embark on a journey of discovery, innovation, and collaboration as we explore the vast opportunities within Nigeria's maritime sector and address the challenges that have hindered its growth. And I must confess that I'm very pleased with the address from the distinguished senator and the statement of commitment from the National Assembly on the legislations that will drive this sector, because as he had mentioned, we in the NESG through NASBA have been working on these legislations for the past 4 to 5 years, and we hope that this is the year that it will happen. Our global economic landscape is undergoing profound transformations as we witness increased interconnectedness and a growing reliance on maritime transport. According to the International Maritime Organization, over 80% of the world's trade by volume and 70% by value is transported by sea. This underscores the critical role of maritime activities in facilitating global trade and economic growth. Nigeria, as the most populous country in Africa, holds a unique position in West Africa's maritime landscape. Our extensive coastline along the Gulf of Guinea provides ample opportunities for maritime trade and economic development. However, Nigeria's maritime sector faces numerous challenges, from piracy and illegal fishing to inadequate infrastructure and particularly regulatory bottlenecks. These obstacles have hindered the full realization of the sector's potential. Yet, evidence suggests that a thriving maritime sector could significantly contribute to Nigeria's economic diversification and inclusion. It has the potential to create jobs, drive economic growth, and keep us on track to achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. One critical challenge in the Nigerian maritime sector is the lack of comprehensive national data that captures its various facets. This data deficiency has hindered policymakers from fully understanding the sector's economic worth and contribution to the GDP. Now, addressing these data deficiencies is crucial as it can unlock the sector's potential for economic growth and job creation. The recent establishment of the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy under the present administration represents a pivotal shift in Nigeria's maritime strategy, encompassing both traditional maritime activities and the blue economy. This strategic move underscores the government's determination to foster a more coordinated and integrated approach to maritime development. So as we gather here today, we recognize that amidst the numerous challenges confronting the maritime sector lies teeming untapped potential. The sector is poised to serve as a catalyst for Nigeria's economic transformation and inclusion. This pre-summit event, Sailing to Success, Harnessing Nigeria's Maritime Potential, therefore serves as our compass, guiding us towards a future where Nigeria's maritime sector thrives, creates jobs, drives economic growth, and contributes significantly towards achieving shared prosperity. So in the spirit of collaboration, innovation, and determination, let us use this event as a platform to explore solutions, forge partnerships, and chart a course towards sustainable economic growth, competitiveness, and private sector engagement within Nigeria's maritime sector. Together, we have the power to unleash the full potentials of Nigeria's maritime industry, and in doing so, we can propel our nation towards greater prosperity and global significance. Thank you for joining us on this remarkable journey, and I look forward to the insightful discussions and action points that will emerge from this event as we sail towards a brighter maritime future for Nigeria. Once again, I extend our profound appreciation to the distinguished senator, all resource persons, and every participant for accepting our invitation, and we look forward to having a productive session. Finally, I urge you again to register for the 29th Nigerian Economic Summit through the NESG website, so you can join other experts and stakeholders in articulating, as the theme of the summit says, pathways to sustainable economic transformation and inclusion. May God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. So now we go quickly into I will start with MP. Thank you once again. Because last night I wasn't sure. Now we'll start with the gains and pains and gains of port concessioning. The Nigerian port was concessioned in 2006. It's been 16 years. The terminal operators are waiting for approval or reapproval. But now, sir, let's analyze the pains and gains of port concession in Nigeria over the last 16 years, because when we talk about investment, the reason for that concession was that government cannot run the ports. Government should hand it over to the private sector. Government has done that for 16 years. Have we gained in terms of what our Nigerian ports should be? Because when we talk about port competitiveness, which is one of my responsibilities to ensure that under this administration, we don't just talk and talk. Are our Nigerian ports really what they ought to be? You and I know what Apapa looks like. We've made some gains somehow, but is that the best Nigeria can get? What are the things that needs to be done moving forward on port concessioning?
Good morning, everyone, and particularly the Chairman, Senate Committee on Maritime, the organizers, my colleagues on the panel, you're welcome. And we are discussing today for a review by our audience the gains and pains of port concession over the last 16, 17 years. Let me just start by saying that our ports are economic gateways. For any country that has an access to the coast, it's a major advantage, and their ports are basic instruments that help the development of countries wherever they are. Nigeria has about 850-kilometer coastline, and that confers on us a lot of benefits when we deploy these possibilities very well. And like we have noted at this session, 70 to 80% of movement of cargo across the world is moved via the sea, simply because of economic of scale and the advantages it confers. In Nigeria, we have about, we have 6 ports. The 7th is a private sector-led port development at Lekki. And these ports are scattered across the country. Before 2005, 2006, the Nigerian Ports Authority runs essentially what you call a tool port system. You are responsible for managing every aspect of the port. Port operation, equipment deployment, cargo operation, and everything. But for the benefit of this audience, let me just put it on the table. The Nigerian Ports Authority provides two major service lines. Service to ship and then service to cargo. The service to ship since 1954, when we started, comprises what you call pilotage operation, towage operation, and mooring operation. That is what you find when you are servicing the ship. The pilotage operation refers to effort to bring the vessel. Once the vessel makes contact with the signal station arm around on your coastline, then we deploy a pilot to go and board the vessel. Because in Nigeria, we operate a compulsory pilotage environment requiring that vessels will make the signal and allow us to guide them to the harbor. And then you have towage. Towage is the deployment of tugs for when you have big vessels that come around and they need to be pushed to the berth. You have the deployment of tugs to assist these vessels to come to berth, and then they are berthed. And then you have the mooring services, which is the shore services, the shoreline services deployed, the personnel deployed to ensure that this vessel is well tied down on the bollard so that discharge operation can go in. Then the second element of the service, which is the one that we are more familiar with, which the moderator has referred to, is service to cargo. Service to cargo consists of all the gamut of activities involving discharge of the cargo into the port, storage in the terminal, and then delivery to the consignee or the owner. When a ship comes, there are several boxes inside, and then general cargo in some area, in some vessels, but they are owned by different people. Nigeria has 200 million people, and these 200 million people, a significant number of them are involved in international trade. So they bring in containers. It is the responsibility of the port to ensure that everybody that sends in a box gets it. These are the two service lines. But in 2005, I think 2002 to 2004, around that, the World Bank made contact with the government of Nigeria and advised that in order for us to optimize the possibilities of our ports, we should embark on port reform. And government took the recommendation and decided that we are going to reform the port. So the element of the service we offer that was given out to private sector operation is actually the cargo handling element of port operation. The cargo handling element comprising receipt of the cargo, storage of the cargo in the terminal, and then delivery to the consignee. That was handed over to private sector operators in the form of concession. So the 6 ports in the country were delineated into about 24 concessions, and they're given to different private sector operators. So from 2005, 2006, we had that. And why did government do this? I will outline some of the reasons, some of which, again, the moderator has said: bureaucracy, infrastructural decay, inefficiency, and corruption. These were the things that government identified as key elements. So the objective of the reform was to open up the system and allow for greater efficiency of port operation, ensure that the turnaround time of vessels that are coming around is faster, and all of that. Let me say a bit about vessels and port service. There's this general belief that vessels coming into the country are going to be made to go to a particular port. The reality of the situation is that port services is a derived demand for vessel owners. Vessels tend to gravitate towards ports where there's efficiency of service. An average vessel does not make money when it stays in the port. It actually spends money when it is in the port. So the objective of a vessel owner is to get the vessel to be sailing every time. So the ports that you see vessels gravitating towards are efficient ports that provide the enabling environment for them to come and leave at the shortest time possible. And that is what I believe the objective of the National Economic Summit Group is, so that we can be competitive in the environment, and then we can attract bigger vessels into our ports. So over this time, what are the gains? What have we seen? What are the pains that we have gone through? I will attempt to list out some of the gains, and I believe maybe the Q&A session will provide an opportunity for us to delve into a lot more of these issues.
Okay.
Okay, I should go ahead.
Yes.
So focusing now on the gains, we've given a background, the gains that we have seen. Since port reform of 2005, 2006, the truth is that we have seen improved cargo inflow into the country compared to what it used to be before. I would say, as somebody that was involved before the port reform, that we had an environment where infrastructure and superstructure challenges meant that our port cannot be as efficient as it could be. So one of the major gains we noticed, there was improvement maybe 6 months down the line, 7 months down the line. We started seeing improvement in cargo inflow, particularly containers. We noticed across ports. Again, for the benefit of this audience, we have 6 ports in the country, but Lagos Port, like the distinguished senator has mentioned, handles between 60 to 70% in volume. The issue of the value is debatable. So in terms of volume, you know that ports in Lagos handle between 65 and 70%. And the reason is simply because of the infrastructural support services that are immediately around the port, the issue of security that you can go to bed on comparatively, the fact that Lagos is the commercial nerve center of the country. And again, when you look at the fact that the major industries are between Lagos and Ogun State, these are factors that will, be the push factor for people that are desirous of.
Okay, sir, I'm still coming back to you because you're getting to an interesting point, and I don't want us to miss the track because we needed to connect the dots. Now, you're coming back to exactly where you stopped, but now I want to speak to Julius Berger, because he just said something. He said Lagos controls about 65 to 70% of the volume of trade out of 36 states. You and I know that Lagos has 3 ports out of 6. You said 6, but we have 6 ports.
Out of 7.
7. Okay, the 6 was before Lekki. Yes. Now, plus Lekki 7. Then what happens when Badagry comes up? It becomes 8. So that means Lagos alone will be housing 4 or 5. Well,
I also mentioned why you are seeing an environment like that.
Okay, yes. Now that means that Lagos will suffer infrastructural pressure.
It's already suffering infrastructure.
Okay, so because, we have an infrastructure person on the table, and I remember one boss then at the Master was Anhide. I remember, okay, he's a shame of a nation. Can you imagine? And I can tell you about today, people have houses worth billions. They have left it. You are talking about the economy. That's why I want to talk about the corridor. And the Tinkan corridor, it took the intervention of Dangote before we were able to fix that road. And Dangote didn't just happen. I remember there was a conversation that was ongoing. I think it was at NESG. And I was pointing. I said, Lily Pond, I was told was meant to be a holding bay. I remember then, I wake up 4 a.m. in Ogun State to get, when I started my career 13 years ago, I wake up 4 a.m. And when I leave work at 4 p.m., 6 p.m., I'll get home by 1 a.m. And the gate man of my estate knows me and say, where come from? Now we are talking about the competitiveness of the ports. Imagine the millions of young Nigerians that are unemployed. Meaning if you're living in Ogun State, you can't work in the port area. But that's not where I'm going now. Infrastructure. That place was so bad that for 3 years, Apapa was inaccessible. And I kept telling them, that was why I said, I don't believe in events anymore, because there is no event that I've not attended in this industry. But he doesn't solve problem. But then we did something. I said, do not go to any event. Call the president. The conversation that we are having here is going to high places. Be assured of that. So then that was why you have the Tin Can axis sorted. I said, if the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria does not come to Apapa, there is no solution. Because we tell them the nicest things that they could tell at all those places, you know. Then we couldn't get a president. If you ever heard that the immediate past vice president, Professor Oshibajo, flew helicopter over Lagos, and the ignorant young people were saying nothing happened. He was just crying for nothing. When he saw the situation, he was appalled. And I was told they go back to Abuja. And they said, there must be a solution. And they called everybody. And in 96 hours, 4 days, they said, okay, we don't have money. And they said, okay, what about tax or whatever? And that was how Dangote got involved. And that axis, I don't know, it's been solved up to Liverpool. But we still have the other axis. So infrastructure, Julius Berger, what do you think needs to be done? I don't know if you have ever been to Apapa, but Lekki is a place where all of us like now. But Lekki has not even started full operations. The trailers have not started moving. There are no rails at Lekki, and we have a Dangote refinery. What are the infrastructural implications on this development, and what do we need to do so that investment can come in, jobs can be created in the sector? Engineer Daramola.
Good morning. Senator Wasiu Sani Eshilokum, Chairman, Senate Committee, my warmest regards, sir, my fellow panelists and everybody present. My name is Engineer Sena. I represent JB Apapa. Yeah, because our office is actually close to Apapa, so it's something we face every day. Our head office is in Ijora, so it's a route we go through every day to go in and out. Sometimes it's a total collapse. Man hours are lost. Health-wise, you are even falling sick. So Apapa is a great case study for us to look into, because, like he said, the maritime industries plays a powerful tool in socio-economic growth. And once there's a collapse in the maritime industry, it totally affects the GDP of a nation. And I'm so glad we are looking into this, because it's going to go a long way to also increase the GDP of this nation that we are in now. What is actually ports in infrastructure? Ports in infrastructure is a crucial element in the maritime sector. As global trade continues to expand, infrastructure development plays a pivotal role in facilitating efficient movement. And that's the problem. That's where we are now, because the ports has continued to increase and nothing has happened to the infrastructure. So there's a deficit between infrastructure and the development of the ports. And if we solve the ports without solving the infrastructure, we are still in the same status quo. Nothing has changed. I had a philosophy, and I told someone, I said, before Nigeria or Lagos was formed, there was a master plan. There is a master plan for Apapa. Where is this master plan? We need to look at the master plan. We need to go back and see what was the plan? What was the plan for Apapa? Where are we now in that plan? What's the way forward, futuristic? Because we need to carry out reconnaissance survey, have people encroach on the areas that were meant for loading bays. Because we can't, the truth is, we need to decongest the loading system in the ports to be able to achieve adequate, good, and proper network. Because as it is now, the system we have in place now is everybody drives into the ports to offload or load. That shouldn't be the case. Let's see what is going on in other countries. We have, if you check, I don't know what country it is, but we have loading bays that are built in the quays around where It's like a stacking system. You don't even need to go into the into the ports. The railway tracks take out all what comes in to a loading bay where the thing goes out. And we are blessed. We have the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, large expanse of land. So there is a master plan. We had the same issue then in Lagos Island Roads under where our able president was the governor of Lagos State then. Lagos Island Roads was in the same state then, all the market areas. And we were able as a company to handle rehabilitation of Lagos Island Roads, even with all the congestion that brought about the development you see in Lagos Island Roads now and the decongestion. So that's what we need to look at. We need to look at road improvement, road network improvement. Who has encroached? Who do we need to get out to get a proper road network? It's unfortunate, but until some fingers need to be burnt, some heads need to be chopped off for us to get success on this project. That's the only way out. That is the only way out. That's the truth, because if we keep soft pedaling the issue and if you like rehabilitate the ports from now, change all the laws, if you keep having loss of man hour, waste of time on the road, nobody would agree to come and invest in a system where I'll be losing man hours. If I want to bring, there's capital, people have capital, but I want to invest where I know I'll make profit, not loss. So we need to develop the road network, improve on our rail system, and also look at inland waterways, how to harness the inland waterways, moving batches and so on.
Thank you, Engineer Sena. You know, when you talked about manpower, loss of manpower, I remember, it just occurred to me that also there was a time, and the industry stakeholders, you can bear me witness, there was a time I know very well that people were dying in Apapa traffic. When we hold these conversations, like I said, it's very personal to me, and I can tell you most of these things. I remember a guy very well, 2014, when the road had 24-hour lockdown. Even the Director General, the Massa Shippers Concern, could not move. And they left their SUVs and they had to find a way to use the boat to get them out. People died. And also, you have staff getting to work at 11 a.m. and they have to leave by 3. They didn't have any choice. I have a boy that came from Abuja and couldn't work at Tinkan. He couldn't cope. So we are losing manpower. We are losing lives. We are losing economic hours. And I remember, again, one of the operators, I think the largest shipping company or so, they said, see, that's why they don't come for meetings like this. If you call them for conversation, they say, okay, go and represent us. You know what we're going to talk about. They said in France, they were doing 4 million TEUs annually. And in Nigeria, they are doing 200,000. What is the population of France compared to Nigeria? Meaning they can do times 20 of what they are doing in France in Nigeria. If we can fix our roads, our bridges, and infrastructure. If you tell that, you know, and I look at it, times 20 means they can do times 5 or times 10 of their manpower. So the manpower that they have now doing 200,000 TEUs, if the capacity is there to do 4 million, 5 million, 8 million TEUs, meaning they will need to employ 5 times of the people that they presently have. So when we look at it from the MPS side, when we look at it from the infrastructure side, they connect to the economic dots, which is contributing to GDP and increasing employment. Okay, government people, you have to pay obeisance, but you have to sit somewhere at the back, please. So closing the infrastructure gaps in the port sector, we'll come back to that. We also need to talk about corporate governance, and that's where I come back to Mr. Olayemi Abbas. When we're talking about stimulating economic growth through the ports and inland waterways, the nexus between opportunities and investment. But I want you to really have on the corporate governance and strategic management for the new Nigeria maritime industry. And when I mean corporate governance, I'm talking about governance within the industry. This is not federal government. This is not judiciary. This is not senatorial local. We have MPA, we have NEMASA, we have Shippers Council, we have which one again, CRFFN. Let's remove the railway because now they've been sorted out of the time. The governance structure of the maritime industry, what needs to change? Because if we don't get that side sorted, I don't think the federal government will be able to do so much. If I'm wrong, please, I'll come back to the audience. But from experience also, when they did ETO, and call up is come to her in the room. So thank you for coming. There is something about TTP, Truck Transit Park. I know it's generated a lot of conversation. We don't know where it has ended. So there are a whole lot of things. Everybody wants to do their own thing. The master wants to make his statements. MPA wants to make his own statement. Shippers Council wants to be his own. There was also a conversation about economic regulator. I don't know whether Shippers Council is an economic regulator today. So let's look at corporate governance. What needs to change under this new dispensation so we can start right? Thank you. Corporate governance.
Distinguished Senator Wasiu Eshiloku. I'll have to call you by name because it's a very honorable name and from a notable family. And my colleague panelists and friends in the audience. What does the English word attitude mean? You see, it's an economic summit. So I'm an accountant, but I studied shipping and port management. And I worked in the industry from Shippers Council to NIMASA. And I was on the Port Reform Committee all the 6 years. And I was literally in charge of the labor reforms, paid the MPA disengagement benefits. So I know what I'm talking about. Attitude. What is attitude? A settled way of doing things. In the last 20, 30 years, there's been a reenactment of corruption on a scale never known before anywhere in the world. If you like, build a 10, Lagos State government is building a 10-lane road from Mile 2, actually from Orile to Badagry, or to Afromedia. I've lived in the axis for 24 years, short in between that Apapa and churches there. Is it not congested? If you like, build 20 lanes in Nigeria. We simply need attitudinal change. We've gone very, very down. I want to be as calm as possible. We got an attitude problem. And I will just give you an opener. A Nigerian is on a British Airways flight, or even a Nigerian Airways flight. Let's say there's something called Nigerian Airways, and he's flying to London. He's well behaved. He gets to Heathrow, he will never dare to stand up. He's on the same Nigerian Airways trip back to Lagos. From, I don't know, where's the flight route? Bamako. I'm sure he will stand up from Kano and start picking his luggage. Sit down until we taxi to a stop. The plane is still taxiing. It's the battle we have to fight now, the battle of the mind. And just look at me straight. The followership in Nigeria is worse than the leadership. If you make up your mind to be a good leader, you will get frustrated. You might end up losing your mind. Leaders have come and gone. They had good intentions. Trust issues. I read French. That's an analogy, and by God's divine grace and the people's will, I become president of the country. Would I manage the CBN? Is it my duty to micromanage people? Does Trump was very angry about what the Treasury in America did, but he couldn't do anything about it. Obama said, I wish you did it differently, but it's your job. And the Constitution does not allow me to interfere. We tried practicing it in Nigeria. You can see where we are. Trust issues. Corporate governance talks about the very fabric of how organizations are run. Until we run public institutions efficiently, effectively, just like people run, although I don't want to say the way people run private companies. Private companies are not immune for corruption. We've seen people stealing from their own banks. The bank I set up, I'm the chairman and I'm stealing from it. It's that bad. We have value issues, we have attitudinal problems. I wish they could go off camera for 1 minute.
No, no, we can't do that. So all I just want to establish is if we
I
continue the way we run,
yes,
whether Nemasa,
I'm being honest with you. I don't think we can ever succeed. I'm optimistic. I pray, but faith without works, we are not just simply serious.
Okay, do we
just
have
wait,
money?
wait, man, one more minute.
Okay.
Do we really have round pegs in round holes in Nigeria? People bandy PhDs that have no meaning. Sorry, with due respect, I don't have a PhD. And those who have it, I honor them.
I'm going to get one.
But it is about how wisdom is the correct application of knowledge. Are we applying what we know? Are we sincere? Do we love our people? Are we really interested? Are we waiting until the poor come and hit us up? People are hungry and angry.
You know,
I don't want to sound emotive.
This is very scary.
Let us run the system the way it should. We've amassed so much money. You don't need so much money. People have made it's the unfortunate thing, madam, that it is the billionaires that are still stealing billions.
I will have to cut you there, Mr. Abbas, because the part that is important to me, because we're talking about economic summit. And you know, you can't talk about the economy, talk about investment, talk about this without talking about employment. And the part that we look at employment, like I said, during NSAS, which is also very close to us in Lagos, is that when they almost shut down the whole country, we thought it wasn't going to get to Apapa. It got into the ports and they had to shoot someone down. If anything happens in the ports today, I always tell people, even if it's one tank farm in Apapa, there is a small problem. The whole Apapa will go down because the tank farms are, you know. So like I said, there was no way government could abate that situation. They had to shoot someone down and it was getting, and okay, no, MPA, sir. They burnt your headquarters and it was getting to the massa. You know, so there is no way we look at it, this sector is extremely important to the conversation. But I don't want to leave Niwa out. Niwa. I started with you before we jumped. Deconstructing the financing conundrum. What are the current innovations that Niwa is exploring? Like I said, 630 million tons of cargoes being moved. What is the difference between an American population and Nigeria? By 2030, Nigeria will be battling the same population level with the US. So let's come to the inland waterways, because this is a port and inland waterways thematic group. Do you think Nigeria has a capacity to move even 70-80% of our cargo through the inland waterways? Number one. Number two, financing. Is there any issue around financing? What needs to be done?
Thank you so much. Good morning, Chairman, Senate Committee. Good morning, my fellow panelists, ladies and gentlemen. Inland waterways. That's the way to go. But unfortunately, it is being neglected. It is so unfortunate. Let's go to the pre-colonial time. How do Nigeria operate? How do we move our cargoes? There was no Lagos-Ibadan Express Road. There was no Abuja Road. Nothing exists that time. And our cargoes were moved. The colonial masters were moving people, slaves to our inland waterways. So what went wrong? Why did we abandon the inland waterways? Everybody is guilty. The government, the policies, the followerships, everybody. We want to go to where we are going easily. We don't want to spend money on something that will take so much money and will not be seen. Politicians want people to see that they have done 10 roads, but that people will not see that they have dredged 10 kilometers of water. Governors want to invest on roads so that people will come and commission. You see, mindsets, attitudes, that is the problem. That is just the problem. Inland waterways, let's go to when we have a Apapa problem there, when there was traffic congestion in Apapa. Look at what the inland waterways did. We moved
fantastic tons of goods by water from Lagos to Ikorodu, from Apapa to Epe. There was movement, there was job creation, everybody was happy. There was less incidents on the road. The infrastructure too will not even suffer the way they are suffering now if the inland waterways is highly maximized. Yes, it is capital intensive. Nothing in maritime is cheap, nothing whatsoever. But look at what she said about America moving 630 tons. They are making more than $73 billion in dollars. Look at China. Look at Amsterdam. Look at Hamburg. Look at them. The Riverine is moving more than 20,000 vessels daily. See going on the inland waters. Nigeria is 10,000 kilometers of waters. 3,000 is dredged all year round. During the Yaradua regime, the River Niger was dredged. Huge sum of money was approved. But up to now, we've not moved. Amen. Oh God.
So I can see your passion.
It was released. It was even dredged. No. We have ports. We have inland ports that were constructed. We have we have Obaro, we have Onitsha being concession. Yes, thank God for the new management. At least we are seeing movement in Onitsha now. But imagine that goods are moving from Lagos to Onitsha via the inland waterways. How many trailers will be off our road?
Okay, let me come in there, ma'am. I can see you're very passionate and very quite emotional about this. And so, and while you were speaking, something came up. I remember I read something, it's been some years, I heard that $3 billion was actually approved for that. I think it's Onitsha dredging or whatever. But you were also saying something, and I'm beginning to wonder, we made some progress on this inland waterway thing. Has it gone back?
No. We are just making progress now so that we will not stop it.
No, you are not. From which administration? Because I remember jetties were built. I remember what led to the creation of LASWA, Lagos State Waterways Authority, where Governor Fashola then had to domesticate the NIWA law. I think it was because there was no efficiency at the federal level and it was under pressure. Lagos, I know there were jetties everywhere, and which led to, and I remember LASWA was in containers. They did that work in container because the MD then, I knew him even the one there now, you know. And I'm aware that some jetties are no longer operational, even though they are built. I don't know. Yes. I'm aware that
there's no jetty that is not used, that's not working.
So why have we not maximized it?
What we are saying is not even about movement of people.
If we said, talking about people, if we say Lagos generates 65 to 70% of the volume, and you said during the shutdown, during the during the congestion, you said there were a lot of progress made. Is that progress sustained now, or it has retrogressed? I needed to know because this.
Why it retrogressed is because of there was no inflow of goods into Apapa too.
Okay.
Maybe it was a general problem, but it did not stop. Okay. Because up to now we have inland container ports. Okay. We have more than 3 in Ikorodu still working.
Okay.
The volume of goods reduced because they don't have so much in Apapa.
Okay.
And because the roads were worked on in Apapa too, there was less traffic.
Because someone talked about data.
It's policy.
I'm coming to the Q&As because somebody talked about data. I remember the Fashola administration, these things are coming back, that 800,000 to 1 million people were using the inland waterways. These people, not goods. And I know that we will drive them to Marina and how we come to Apapa through the boats, 5 minutes, because that was the only way. You could spend 4 or 5 hours getting to them. Then the best way was Marina. Okay, so we park there, you just go and to Apapa, then use bike, then come back and pick your car. And I remember also the man at Manoron, the Maritime Academy, I think when they wanted to expand that to university, I discovered they had a lot of water and they could move goods and people from Akwa Ibom, Oro to Cross River, Calabar, and all that. Have they dredged it?
It's dredged.
It's dredged now, yes. So they are still moving. Yes. So what area, part of the country do you think No, some people say policy. It's not moving. Akwa Ibom to where?
To Calabar.
From Oron to where? The water at Oron, where does it go to? How?
So you see, let me tell you, there is River Niger, there is River Benue. We have confluences, we have creeks that join all these things. When they dredge the River Niger, you must dredge the River Benue. You must dredge some of the creeks in the Niger Delta.
Okay, so now they don't connectivity. Yeah, and you know
the country's waterways connect more than 28 states. If it is dredged,
okay,
28 states can be connected by water without using road. About 7 or 8 countries in the West Africa can be connected by water.
And this is important now that AU has been drafted.
Yes, that is why you see this MOCA funds, the creation of a regional maritime bank for funding, because seriously we have funding problem in the inland waterways. You have a lot of, most people that owns barges, they are private owners.
And they are here.
And most of their barges, they are not what is.
They are not seaworthy.
They are not what is even being used. The technology is outdated.
So meaning if they have support,
yes,
they can scale their business.
Yes, like most of these countries we are mentioning, and they don't use they do.
I think, Ms. Benita, you mentioned this issue at one forum to Mr. Saraki, and I think you were saying something in that line, and they didn't allow the conversation that day. So it's connecting. So you're saying if we have funding support for the barge operators, they can improve on their assets.
Yes,
they can do more business.
If government should work more on the regional maritime development
regional maritime development bank.
Yes,
so that development partners can work with them.
Yes, yes. Okay. And this cabotage
CVFF
fund should be extended to the inland waters.
I'm not sure the ship owners will allow that, but we'll come back to that. Don't go there. I'm not sure the ship owners will allow that. So coming back to Ship Okpara.
Madam, I think we should talk about this funding thing.
Yes, we're coming back to the funding. Like I said, this is a pre-summit event. And let me mention here that just yesterday, I secured a seat at the main summit. You know, what we did is, you cannot be talking about economic issues and maritime sector is not on the table. NESD has been willing for 8 years, but our sector has been the problem. That's why I'm very, very selective about people that comes here. So exactly 30 days from now, we are meeting again at the Transcorp in Abuja. The CEO just did that for me yesterday, and I will discuss that more with you. So this is not a conversation that we are going off on. The same conversation we are going to continue in a bigger room. And right there, you have the president, you have the vice president, you have the Senate president, you have everybody that matters in government, all the ministers are there. So this is a pre-summit. The main summit is coming, and I'm going to register us as a group. So the conversation is not ending. So but Chief Okpara, freight forwarding. Recently, there was a truce that was broken by the federal government. The federal government had to send NSC to our industry that if they do not stop all these fights, the country cannot move forward. Do you understand? Freight forwarders or whosoever they are carrying machetes to destroy themselves, fighting for 5 years. What exactly is the problem? Can you expand on the potential for freight forwarding in Nigeria? Do you know why? I remember Shippers Council said one time that technology was going to take away the jobs of freight forwarders in XYZ years. I can't remember the year. Meaning that if certain things happen, because we're talking about port automation, I do not have the details. He said 90% of the freight forwarders are going to be jobless. So I need you to expand on the potential of the freight forwarding in Nigeria, because someone said if certain things are done, that sector can create as much revenue as NEMASA. And I do not understand how that works. So how can private sector or other stakeholders tap into this freight forwarding thing? What do we need to get right? That's your own area of expertise. Can you please enlighten us?
Princess, thank you very much. Distinguished Senator, I salute you, sir. I worked with your colleague now, Senator Ositis Nassau, for 4 years when he was on gas committee. The panelists, distinguished attendees, and stakeholders. I wouldn't want to dump into freight forwarding issue because it was there before I was employed. I happened to work in Sheriff just because I was in the house when the act was being made. And I observed the stakeholders' meetings and all the gamuts of it. So they say the person that can interpret the act is this man who was during the bid preparation up to stage. So when it was established, I was seconded to go and assist them. That is how I came there. And Princess, thank God for you too. You are versatile in the maritime industry. If not freight forwarding, there is the Maritime Workers Union. There is the Maritime Truckers Union. There is there's no one that is peaceful. There is no one that is peaceful. The sector is full of cabalism. You have been there for over 15 years. You see how I saw some areas they try to pig you because you are destined for the progress. People wanted to stop you, but they can't stop you by God's grace. Thank you very much for this conversation. And I'm particularly happy that this thing is not a speech-making forum. We are telling ourselves the truth. But let me ask this question, permit me. Mr. Ayo, Julius Berger and Dangote use their tax to repair the road from Tinkan or from Roundabout up to Mile 2. Beautiful lane, 4 lanes each side. But 2 days ago, I was trying to go to Mile 2 from there. I was locked down for about 4 hours. I had to pay money to the police to escort me, get out of that place. Otherwise, government vehicle would have been seized. I don't know how they were done it. What is the problem? It had turned to Sellers Park. I said, from Tinkan to Mile 2, no way. They're all parked there, stationary, 4 lane, occupied. It's only going that you can have a lane to pass, going and coming one way. And if you're not their yellow painted bus, they'll catch you. And you pay 50,000 by 2.
But that road has been fixed, sir.
It has been fixed, I bet it's not movable. What is fixing?
No, I'm trying to understand. Do you know what?
Beautiful road.
Let me help you out. See, sir, in road transport balance, they call it right? In road transport balance. In road transport balance, a road is tarmac, and you park things on tarmac. Those roads, if you like, build 20 lanes, they are like tarmacs. These guys are look at Lagos Badagry, Oluti, Fin Niger, Satellite. It's not the same ball game.
Okay, I think at that point, because when we talk about maritime issue, they always say that it is a federal government conversation, which is true, which is one of the reasons why I became very interested in this particular administration. And because there are certain things the state government cannot do, but the state government had to escalate. Because this road that you're talking about, to be fair, for 3 years, I decided not to go there. Because the only way to go there, you know, is, let's not talk about what we go through when we go to that place. You will leave your vehicle at Shippers Council. I remember, except Shippers Council or NEMASA or MPA is opportune, going at that time and you know somebody that you can enter their vehicle, which they will allow to pass one way. I was thinking now that the road has been sorted, people will be able to move. So I've not been there for 3 years intentionally. My major clients is there. CFAX, I do not want the money. Because, no, it's true. The MD, I've known him for about 12 years. Because the way to get there, because we're talking about economic issues, you have to go and use somebody's private boat to get somewhere. So GSK left Nigeria, and I know GSK has been there for years. And one of the things they complain about is that we cannot get our things out of the port. And you are talking about the practicality here. I will try next week and I will take a bike. You can only go with bike. So, no, when you go with a bike on the road, you see the issues. When you go on the water, it's easier. And that's what I said to government. Our government people have to roll their sleeves and get on the field. If you do not get on the field, that's what I'm talking about corporate governance. We hide a whole lot of things from the government people. And we are there blaming them, talking in newspaper, talking and they say many of these things they do not know. Because this tarmac that you're talking about, I'm very, very certain some people are making money every day in that place. Those cars cannot be parked there without the consent of some people who are taking.
either through Apapa or either through bike. But the only problem is to access it through one road.
He said they spent 4 hours. That was when the road was bad. I know when the road was bad. Now the road has been fixed. Okay, sir. Okay, MPA, you need to let us know what needs to be done. No, what needs to be done for that road to be free so that people can move.
So
who is to commission federal government or
let me put this on the table. Let me put this on the table. Let me put this on the table.
So you know, I'm to announce this. What? See, please, like I said, this is not a talk show. All of you know all the big men and women in this industry. I know everybody. If I want 1,000 people, I can gather them. I did not want this to end up as talk. If you say that road has been fixed, which I know, and I do shakara about it because I saw what Dangote casted in that place. They built it, concrete, steel, inside. So it wasn't just a road. It's been there about 3-4 years. And I know they did it down to Liverpool. And I know that Fashola came. You understand? So if you say it's commissioning that is delaying this road, no, is it the Minister for Works that is to commission or the federal government? I want to know. Tell me.
Let's put this on the table. We are honored to have the senator representing. It doesn't commission. Listen, we are giving a background. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity. So let me put this on the table, please, and for the benefit of the audience. Yes, government has expended a lot of resources making this road. You had said earlier that when you leave Ogun State, it takes you leave around 3 or 4 to get to Apapa. So MPA deployed the electronic call-up system, and it eased up a bit the experiences, at least now. You can use parameters to measure the turnaround time of trucks going in and out. You can use it as a parameter. You can also use the amount that you hire trucks. So let me tell you what is happening in Lagos, and particularly on that Tinkan axis. You know, port trucks that make their way into the port, we can control. But those
you can control?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And we use the electronic call-up to control. If you are not complying, we'll lock you down. We can lock a truck from entering the port for months. So you won't perform economic activities. So they know. But we cannot control tankers. And Lagos State government said they would do an electronic call-up for tankers when we were starting 2 or 3 years ago. So you cannot control them. And if you go to the Tinkan axis, they are the people you see there tankers on the road.
Okay. Tankers.
So the roads...
Because we have a lot of tank farms in that place.
Yes.
Okay.
But they can be managed.
So Lagos State government has already promised they were going to do call-up. No, I've noted that. Now, Q&A, I want to speak with Comtua because...
Before we go there, let me also put this on the table because we have people that can escalate it.
We will.
Let us check the New York, New Jersey model. The roads surrounding the port and everywhere around it are managed by the Port Authority in those areas.
I was actually supposed to be in the US this week, but
here I said they are managed by Ministry of Works. So even when you have the resources to do these things, you cannot.
That's overlapping.
So yes, and then get these indices.
Okay.
Investigate, because you are probably a journalist. How much does the Tinkan Command contribute to the national economy per day? And then per week and per month, and juxtapose it with what is required so that you can make an economic sense when you are arguing it easily. Because if you are earning revenue from a source, it should be easy for you to deploy resources.
Okay, I'm coming back to those issues, and I can assure you we are coming back to each and every one because we need to know what needs to be done, and then we will escalate, like you said. But talking about TTPs, okay, you want to say something? I need to give... I'll come back to this. I need to give audience to TTP because I invited them. They seems to have issues about this trailer thing. Mr. Aroye, right? Can we give him the microphone? Yes. No, I know something on truck. No,
No,
hold on, sir. I don't know. I don't even know the full meaning of COMSWA. But like I said, there has been issues around this TTP, ETO. The problem is we have trailers on the road, disturbing port activities, not making our ports competitive. What needs to be done? Who are the stakeholders? That's what I want to know. What needs to be done? Who is the problem? Who is the solution?
Mr. Chairman, sir, and every other protocol duly observed. The COMTUA is Council of Maritime Transport Unions and Association. COMTUA, COMTUA. Yes, we are. I agree with you.
Hold on.
We are a major. We are a major.
You are a major part of the problem. Okay, good.
We are part of the problem. We are victims of the problem. We are victims of the problem, and we are going to be part of the solution. Let us say it the way it is.
I'm happy to hear.
Law is law. If you want to talk about enactment that will improve what we have now, it is not the situation now. We want to discuss the situation as it is now. MPA is confined to the territory and the walls of the Nigerian Ports Authority. So extending it beyond that and thinking of the road and asking questions about the road from MPA is a breach of the law. It's not going, I agree with you. No, I'm trying to exonerate him. He's just going to, we are just moving around the ring. And let us say it as it is. The more things change, the more they remain the same. What was the problem that led to the congestion in the first place? The road was a major problem. Now the road has been fixed. Almost all. Almost all. Another thing is everybody just goes to the port before now. Now it is electronically being controlled. Has it solved the problem? The problem is sincerity of purpose, attitude, as you have mentioned. I'm coming. Both. I don't know what is government business with private business. If you cannot separate government business with private business, there will always be a problem. I'll say it like this. Look at it this way. The Nigerian Port Authority came up with a fantastic idea of electronic call-up system. It is good to say, okay, if you want to move from Lagos to Abuja, you may not necessarily use the road. You will use here, and this is the flight. Unfortunately, you have given it to a pilot that does not even know how to navigate the destination, and that is where we are now. I'll give you an example. All the trucks you see on the road, there is nobody that will buy a truck that will not have where he parks these trucks. Don't let anybody deceive you that they are parking on the road. No, they are en route the port for genuine business. There's nobody that does not have where to park.
We need trailer park.
I'm telling you, that is not even the problem. There's nobody that does not have where he parks his truck. The problem is there's a disconnect between the terminal operators, the electronic call-up administrator, and the users of the policy. Let me give you this. There's a disconnect. Nobody comes to address the problem. Everybody will tell you we have approved truck parks for TTP, but did you ask the users if this is really serving the problem?
So I want you to tell me, because as you're speaking now, I remember very vividly that when we started talking about this issue some years ago, Lily Pond, on the day they said they solved this problem, they set Lily Pond on fire.
See,
you are saying
I'm coming. I'm driving at something.
Cannot have a trailer parking, Papa. all those big people that owns this trailer, because it's not you and I that who are group and all that. One person has 600 trailers. If you do one thing that wants to affect his business, you just get one call from Abuja. Nobody wants to die. That's the truth. But what we are looking at is solution that benefits the people.
That's what I'm
saying. Meaning that what do we need to do? That tanker and trailer, I can have a place to put them, 700, 1,000 of them that I do not see one on the road. Meaning private people can go about their business. Do you understand? Organizations that have things at the port, because I remember arguing at the Lagos State Governor's office about a year, and they said Apapa problem has been solved. I said no. And I had to do something in Apapa that forced them in. When I want to make you angry, I'll get you to come to Apapa so that you can see this thing. So government has seen it. Disconnect between the truck, the drivers,
the government, which is the Port Authority,
which is MPA,
the electronic call-up and the terminal operators, and the users.
Okay,
I'm coming, please. I'm coming.
Because somebody asked a question there. What can be done to promote the autonomy or independence of the MPA as a key responsible organization for the port? Which comes back to what you said. We should study New York and New Jersey, right? One of the elements. So if they are able to handle that responsibility solely to MPA, you can do it effectively. It's a positive step forward for MPA. I will note that because, like I said,
and to me, policies matters.
Okay.
See, in America that we are always referring to, they have a policy that you cannot move agricultural products by road. Yes, that is a policy.
Interesting.
Yes, even petroleum products. You cannot move it by road.
So if you cannot move it by road, by law, you are forced to use.
You don't have a choice.
Oh, now, so let's go. I've noted what you've said. Like I said, we do not have the whole of today to but everybody in this room, I can assure you, you're not going anywhere after today. Like, you go to your house, but we have a conversation moving forward for the next 30 days. Because some of these things, like I said, NESJ, we have a green book that every year for the last 29 years, they harness some of these things. So if you see yourself in paper, don't be surprised. What you have said is being taken note of. And it goes to the president. Action points. Some of the things you see the government executing now were the work that has been done on certain level. And I just took one now because our agricultural sector is very huge. If there is a law that says you can't move agricultural product by road, and even our cargo oil by road, so everybody is forced to move via the waterways. Now, to you, the barge operators, what exactly, I want to hear from you directly, do you need? 1, 2, 3. That you think if government does between now and 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, it will help the economy?
Thank you. My name is Honorable Bumi Olubeku. By chairman, sir, I just want to thank you for this great job you are doing. Please keep it up. And for me to come here today and see the marvelous work, I was very, very happy. But let me go straight to the point of what you said. Now, we've been agitating that we need government present in maritime as a whole. That is where we are before. And I said it before, I said we need at least what we spend on rails, that 20% should even spend on the water, on the land. So now we have what we call blue economy. Abi? Ministry of Blue Economy. Marina Blue Economy. We are coming there. We are getting there. But as we are discussing now, you can see there is a lot of disconnection among us here. We present. And that's the problem what we're facing before. Are we not still going to have the same problem? I'm still going to where we're coming from. Let me just tell you. Sir, you have a lot of work to do, sir. Mr. Chairman, sir. Mr. Here today. You have a lot of work. You have a lot of work to do. A lot of things has to be put in the house. Yes. Like when we're talking about this blue economy, and this blue economy is coming as a baby, which is going to be there's going to be a lot of overlapping on other ministry. And that's going to cause another higher problem to us, which we are facing. Because the problem we are facing now is the problem of the agencies.
they are not within. They are not with themselves, and they are not connecting. I can tell you,
I know that problem.
When in the Yoruba language, when they said you should take a drug, and they will say, "So Sherry," that's where we are. Oshewari.
Yeah. That's why I called you. You are here. You are the one.
Yes, that is what we are facing now. So you can see
which of the agency exactly? MPA, NEMASA, all of them.
NEMASA,
do you
MPA,
all of them?
A lot of.
You are over-regulated.
Over-regulated. And the thing is that they are not, everybody will come and take his own. This is my own. They don't care about Nigeria. They don't care about you, but they care about themselves.
Yeah, okay.
And that is purpose, well, we say everybody's purpose of your this. Everybody wants to be on it. So everybody wants to do things on it. So, and they will tell you, so we are not under NEMASA, we are not under MPA.
So who are they under? On their own?
They're on their own.
Okay, so like I said, it wasn't a mistake that I didn't mix today's conversation with the ship owners. You know, the shipping conversation is a very huge one. Let's leave that. So I separated it because ports and inland waterways, you are the real people on the field.
Yes.
Without you, like here saying, if they legislate today that agricultural products should not even move by road again, I can imagine the volume of business. Yes. And that's what government is looking forward to.
That's what we are even
how do we create economic activity?
50% of what we move by water now is export. What 60%? 40% is empty container. So 60% is export. So you can see where we are going because everybody has fed up going by the road. We're having double charges, everything on the road. Our goods are damaged on the road. So everybody prefer go by.
Now, people now prefer to over.
But we still need to beg our MP. Because now you do that, they've high their tariff.
Yeah, they need to generate revenue, you know. Yeah, so, like I said,
not on the detriment of our.
No, I'm not supporting them, and I'm not opposing them. You all know that there is a long-term saying in England that trade facilitation versus revenue generation.
Yeah, we need to balance it. We all agree that they need to.
We are not facilitating.
We need to balance it. We need to balance
it. So, like I said, this 2-hour conversation today is to start a very long journey. NASG is working with the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy. And like I said, they wanted them to get it right from day one. That's why we are starting right from the onset. So a whole lot is going to happen on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis. So we'll come back to you. Okay. Trust me, this conversation is not ending as we you understand? So okay. So that I want to assure, I just made sure that we're talking to the right people. Yeah. No, what do you need?
No, I think finance is the key. Finance is just the key.
I would just ask. Yes, I know. Like I said,
we don't want government hands on our business. But just do your own.
But you know, when you want to attract financing, somebody talked about Regional Maritime Bank, and I know that took a whole lot of process. The one that is on Burma Road after NEMASA, is it functioning?
No, it's not even.
Yes, let's talk about finance.
The finance we're talking about, you know what is involved in finance.
The Americans, the US.
To get the 500 tons of badge now. Yes, sir.
Hold on, sir. I am interested in solution.
Okay.
And I know our president is going around the world attracting the confidence of investors. Like I said, the US Deputy Secretary just left. And while he was boarding, he said something. He said Nigeria does not have the macroeconomic policy environment that will attract people to bring their dollar-denominated money. You understand? You see, we do not have money. Nigeria should understand we are a poor country. I'm coming back to you, sir. We do not have money. Let us forget. We do not have money. See, Nigeria, you do not have money. And I remember also at an NASG event about 4 or 5 years ago, there was a man that spoke. I remember I was talking to Dr. Doyin Salame. He said there is $13 trillion. Hold on, you have money. Do you have, I'm not talking 1 trillion, $1 trillion Nigerian money today. That is our home. We do not have, so we don't have money. Where? Hold on. If you have $13 trillion, I'm rounding up. If you have $13 trillion global capital moving around, looking for a destination, do you understand? Our job is to make Nigeria. You see, Madam. Our job, I'm rounding up, is to make Nigeria that destination. where that money is coming
That's what
through.
I said.
That money will not come to you. That is what we want to do for you.
We don't need Nigeria. We don't need government.
Can I talk about? Can we come back to hello?
He's a finance expert.
Hello. Can we come back to
the conversation that I wanted?
Can we come back to corporate governance? Quickly, let me talk about three things. When you have good governance practices, you are a destination for investments. There's transnational capital. Look, there is badges. Hello. There are badges all over the world. I do. If they know Nigeria is a point, they will come and sign an MOU. Just wait, sir. There is money floating, but nobody wants to bring it to Nigeria. Issues of governance. Thirdly, just hold on. Hold on, sir. Hold on,
the honorable
the third one is this.
You need money. You do not have that money. That is the truth.
We don't even the money I'm talking about.
You are done what?
I said they should do their own.
Can I finish? Can I say the last one? The last one. The last one is.
The last one. Then I
you said if with sorry, please let me have your attention, distinguished senator, so that when you are doing the budgets, you do what was done. I don't want to refer to names of previous governments under a previous dispensation when we had the medium-term sector strategy, which was not focused only on revenue. Now, in the past few years, when you go to the National Assembly, with due respect, the focus of the officials of the Ministry of Finance is how much are we going to give the Federation account or the CRF, whereas it should be about value. I can't be removing REX, you are removing REX. Now, can I tell you, sir, the money spent on, because people put figures in public domain that are wrong and fallacious. Lagos-Ibadan rail is just about $1.7 billion. True or false? Are you telling me that? And that's the first major investment in railway in 30 years in Nigeria. In 30 years, the maritime industry, I don't want to mention names, I don't want to cast aspersions, people have spent more than such.
Do you know also, do you know that you are talking about
we are a poor country?
Hold on, sir. Hold on. Sorry to come to them. We are at NESG. Let me tell you, all the money that come into rail sector as an investment didn't happen until certain things happened in the policy room. Driven by the NESG, because the Railway Act or something of 1963 or 19 whatever, they sat down at the National Assembly Business Environment Roundtable to repeal some of these laws. That was when the investors say, we have our money, we are coming. So that bottleneck is what I'm saying. So if you say you have money, then give me $5 billion.
We can raise that.
Do you understand? There has to be certain things that happen. Do you understand? Yeah. Before those fundings will come. And those are the bottlenecks that NESG want to remove. So that I know you are about 86 to 100 in your association. What can be done? Like you said, there are certain things that are skilled business in your line. So if you are making money, of course, you will pay tax. Your business will pay tax. Government makes money from there. So we are not even waiting for maritime bank, because I want to close. We've achieved one thing here. We've started a conversation, and I just said that conversation is not ending. This is a pre-summit. We are going to the pre-summit, and between now and the next 30 days, we'll align on certain things. We want to see 3 months, 6 months, certain things being done. Do you understand? But if you say you have money, I know the Ship Owners Association, Mr. Abbas, can I have your attention? You know the Ship Owners Association, you know they have been fighting for about 9 years. And it was part of this money that broke them. Now they said this money is about $150 million. Some people say it's about $1 billion. Maybe we even need to audit the fund. But all the entire funding, let's even assume is a $1 billion. How many ships can it buy? No, let's even say the ships that you are.
If I'm saying we have money, I'm not saying that we have a fiscal.
We can create. But our own is to enable you to be able to create. Okay, now I've had noted it, sir. MPA, sir. I'm happy you're working right in the MD's office. I'm going to continue the conversation with you. Julius Berger, the infrastructure conversation is not ending. The corporate governance issues, even if we do not extend to other issues, we want to be able to crack this even in the next 30 days. So before we appear in Abuja, like I said, these things are going onto the right table. We need to even get to 1, 2, 3 quick action points. Things that we can see in 3 months and 6 months, no matter how little. And I've noted what you said. Let's say if MPA can control the space, they know it. Like you said, it's happening in some other environment. Those are the things we're interested in, because we can talk and talk and talk forever. And our honorable senator, sir, we've taken your time. I know he's very passionate about saying the bills that are on his table. We'll also have conversation on that. Which one is at the final stage? Which one needs to be changed or removed? And that. I'm sure you'll be happy to see things happening in the next 3-6 months. Those are the conversations before we begin to expand the scope. So I'd like to bring this session to an end. But like I said, all of you are not going anywhere.
Please, before you bring it to an end, please.
Okay.
I've been in inland water. Sorry, ma. Sorry, I want to say this because our chairman is there.
Okay.
I want him to please go home, sit down, and look at the NEWA Act. Look at the thing creating NEWA. Look at the bill that has been in the National Assembly for the past 20 years. Please, sir. So that we can have a way forward, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay, sorry, Ronke, thank you so much. I want to just correct the impression that you have about Anaka. I'm a member of Nigerian Association of.
I think you contested, did you?
I did. I won. I won. I'm a member. And I thank you. I want to say two things. See, we finished. There is no more fights now.
Okay.
Anaka is going to be 70 years next month and next year. So you should know that now that there is no house, there's no fight. Okay. Please, we don't break head in Anaka. And number two, sir, thank God that Honorable Senator is here. Please, my sister raised one question, and I believe that is what's going to solve the issue we are having on this spot. Okay. The drawing board, where is the road map? The master plan. I could remember that somebody, the former NPA, Haji Adiza Bala Usman, she was on it before before she was dropped. Please let them put it in the act. Let our chairman let him work on it. That will solve most of the issues that we are having here.
And then,
sir.
No, master plan.
The master plan, sir.
Okay, so please let me put this on the table. NPA has actually not increased its tariff since 1993.
Okay, 1993.
Yes. So when we are engaging in this conversation, we'll continue.
Okay.
You understand? So that we don't, put the wrong impression on the table. We have distinguished senator here and all of that. Since 1993,
30 years.
We have not changed our tariff.
And you just did now?
We have not.
We have not. So, like I said, your office is very, very important. Engineer,
sorry, 1 minute. I'm just trying to buttress her point.
Okay.
You see, the truth is the government has tried so many means to curtail this problem of congestion, and it hasn't worked. With the master plan, you do a reconnaissance survey. You superimpose the reconnaissance survey on whether you like it or not. You saw our colonial masters, what they did in that master plan. They have done you 200 years look ahead.
Yes, that's true.
So we need to superimpose what we have now on the master plan and see where we derailed. When we see where we derailed, we start to go back.
Yes, you are right.
Whether we like it or not, we will burn bridges, but we will get a solution.
You know why what she's saying is important? Like I said, you don't see any expatriates there. If you call them, all of them, they are aware of this event. They may be watching virtually. These are the real investors. You can't take MSC away. What you said is, let's say, see, we've had conversation. Nigeria is just dribbling around the problem. They go and come back. And they are a bit embarrassed. That's it. We know where to put our money in. The market is there. So the responsibility is on us. We know. Do you understand? And we're taking it up. You know, the responsibility is on us. So what you have said has been noted. If you know Apapa very well, I have certain places you will bump into, you will find out that what was in the mind of the people that were building this, meaning they planned 100, 200 years ahead, down into Ebutemet at the railway, if you go around railway and all that. So the fault is really from us as Nigerians, which comes back to government. But from what government has said so far, government, if government is not even saying it, they have a bigger problem on their hand. You do not have money, you are owing, you need to stimulate economic activity. Nobody's willing to borrow us money because when they borrow you, how do you want to pay back? So all these things, we're going to take it so that we can begin to create our own wealth and create employment for our own people. I want to really thank you very much for finding time to come today. But like I said, my next request is we are all not going anywhere in course for the next 30 days. This conversation is being harnessed. We have a bigger seat at the table, October 23, 24. Everybody that matters in government is there. So I want to know between now and then, who do I need to call? Is it the Minister for Works? Is it the Minister for Blue Economy? Is it the key actors that are needed? So as we are standing up from that place in October, whatever, you understand, we are moving into certain assignments, and we are able to come back and say, December, this has been done. March, this has been done. Who needs to do what? So that's the work of NASG, and that's my role here as a thematic lead. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. And so we have come to the close of this session. Now, I don't know, tea break, pictures. Oh, Chairman Ibejuleki, I'm so sorry. Can we still continue? No, I mean, I needed to speak because I told him to be here. He's a very, very passionate man. He feels that Apapa, Lekki is becoming another Apapa. So, no, I did. It was when I stood up. I remember. You are here. You have listened to the conversation. So we'll continue. We can't take the whole time. So let's take picture. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody. Please let's take pictures in the lobby.